Ladies and gentlemen, today what we're going to do, we're going to continue our discussion on Dr. King, and specifically, I want us to talk about and think about what Dr. King called nonviolence, okay? And can somebody give me a reason why we would study nonviolence? Like, so as fifth graders, why do you think nonviolence is important? As a fifth grader here, take some think time, put your hands down for a second. Let's just think about it for a second. As a fifth grader, why would we study nonviolence?
If it's a puny third grader, you don't want to mess with him because you want to be the mature person, you want to be the bigger man, and like you can talk to him, or you can talk to him, or just tell the teacher.
You can talk to a person. So if we're in a situation and we have an option to be violent or we have an option to be mature, this will help us be more mature, right?
I just think about it, talk to myself, and I'll try to handle the situation.
Okay, you think about it, talk to yourself, and try to handle the situation. How many people, like, sometimes you just get upset and you just walk away? How many people do that? Yeah, sometimes, right? And so as fifth graders, right, we need to have strategies for dealing with difficult situations, right? And one of my favorite persons is Dr. King. And Dr. King had a wonderful strategy for dealing with conflict and situations that we have to deal with. And what he called it was nonviolent direct action. Now, we talked about this before. Most of you have never heard or read a Dr. King speech before, right? 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 The only speech you've heard was what? I Have a Dream. But aside from I Have a Dream, most of us have never read anything by Dr. King. And that gives us a wonderful opportunity to look at something that Dr. King wrote. And he called it Quest for Freedom Everywhere. All right, and so what we're going to do, we're going to do what we call a close reading. We're going to critically analyze. We're going to look at Dr. King's writing and try to figure out what Dr. King means when he talks about nonviolent direct action, okay? I think we do children a disservice when we do not challenge them to read texts that are on their grade level. Are they going to need scaffolds? Yep, they are. Are we going to need to help them? Yes, we are. But we have to give the child that opportunity to wrestle, because when we don't, we're basically damning them to low expectations. Why would I read this as a fifth grader? Isn't this college stuff, Jovan? Why would I read this as a fifth grader?
You'll read it as a fifth grader, so it also helps us become a better reader.
So it's academic, right? We're going to become better readers. I'm going to teach you different strategies. But we're going to also leave this class more informed, intelligent students who can handle difficult situations. Y'all with me? Now, let's take a minute and let's just look at the speech. How is this speech organized?
It's organized by sequence and events.
Now, if I look at the anchor chart, it says sequence of events. The text tells events in order: first, second, last. Okay, so why do you think it's organized in sequence of events? So somebody who popped up, why do you think it's in sequence of events? Thomas?
I think it's sequence of events because it's ordered like for the second paragraph it says first, this is not a method, and then for the third one it says second, and then for so on, and then it stops at 4. So that's why I think it's sequence of events.
Okay, so you think it's sequence of events because we see ordinal numbers. We see first, second, third, fourth. Okay,
Yes.
Okay. If a paragraph is organized using sequence of events, we should be able to read the paragraph and hear what happened first, what happened second, what happened third within that paragraph, right? So it should be a series of events in order. Is that correct or am I wrong?
Correct.
It should be a series of events. So let me give you an example. First, Mr. Davis faced the board. Then, Mr. Davis took a step. Next, Mr. Davis took a step forward. After that, Mr. Davis turned around, right? I'm telling you what's happening first, second, third, fourth, right? Sequence. Now, let's look at this paragraph. Let's look at this one. First, this is not a method for cowards. It does resist. The nonviolent resistor is just as strongly opposed to the evil against which he protests as is the person who uses violence. His method is passive. What happened first? What happened first? There is sequence, right? We do see first, second, third, fourth. But do we see sequence of events or do we see sequence of something else? All right? What do we see? And I'm seeing the same hands. I'm seeing the same hands. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to turn to your partner. And I want you to tell your partner what is in order. And it should go something like this. Hey, I think blank is in order because. You can get 15 seconds, then we're going to go to the next person. We'll start with person A. Ready? What do you think is in order? Person A goes first. Begin.
I think it's main idea detail because like the main idea is the first paragraph right there, and then what Tayshana said, the point is the detail. The second point is the detail, and then go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you because it's gonna be main idea and detail because at first it tells you the main idea, like this is not for cowards. It do resist and nonviolence. It tells you all the things that you have to do, and that it's not for cowards. You have to actually resist this. You have to use nonviolence, even though something else happens.
I would say a third of the class reads on level, slightly above level. A third of the class reads at least a year and a half below level. And then the rest of the class reads somewhere a half a year below level or more. And so we do a lot of groupings. Like I work a lot with strategy groups, with reading groups. We're going to have a new idea each paragraph. Now, as a reader, this is very important, right? Because as I read, as I transition to each paragraph, I should get one new idea. I should get one new idea, one big main idea from each paragraph, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read the first paragraph with our partner, and then I want you to tell me what this entire essay is about, okay? We're going to read the paragraph with our partner, all right? And then I want you to tell me exactly what the paragraph is about. And when I call on you, you have to be able to say, oh, Mr. Davis, I think this is about blah, 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 because. You have to give me some evidence, okay?
Who used it to free India from the domination of the British Empire. 5 points can be made.
So there was a lot of word work that took place, even when we were reading other books. When we read the book about Dr. King, I had my mind on the speech, and I kept on teaching words that they would eventually see in the speech. So by the time we read the speech the first time, students were very familiar with the words.
This paragraph is about how Mohandas Gandhi used it to free Indians from being defeated from the British in the beginning. And then he was going to say 5 things about how, basically, how nonviolence would be used and how people, how it can be used.
Who's going to use it, though?
People around the world.
People around the world, okay. But what does Dr. King mean when he says to bringing about better racial conditions? Keyshawn?
Martin Luther King is trying to use the 5 strategies and bringing about civil rights movement.
Okay, so
The civil rights movement.
So he's going to use the 5 strategies and has something to do with the civil rights movement. Good. Every book that I introduce, I want students to walk away from it and say, well, this is something else that I can not only use in my life. This is going to help me read, but this is also going to help me, and it helps them to look at books and speeches and articles and any piece of text as something potentially transformative as opposed to something just solely academic. I'm going to give you something to help us figure out the 5 points. This is a graphic organizer. We're going to go paragraph by paragraph to pull out the 5 points that Dr. King talks about. All right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work individually, and then we're going to discuss our answers as a table. So the first 3 minutes, I want you to read. I want you to have a good idea. I want you to read it, and then we're going to do a round robin. We're going to do an all-round robin right. So we're going to read it. We're going to underline what we think the main idea is. We're going to discuss it, and then we're going to write it down. First, this is not a method for cowards. It does resist. Okay. Now, what is a coward?
Coward is someone that's scared.
Okay, so I see you looking at your paper. Somebody who's scared. Okay. So first, this is not for somebody who's scared. It does resist. What does resist mean again?
To somebody that refused to do something.
Okay, all right. This is not a method for people who are afraid. It does fight back or it does go against what's going on, right? What does that mean to you, Tyreek? That is a literary textbook, but had it not been for the Common Core, I don't know, maybe I would have chosen this Dr. King speech. I may not have, but I think the Common Core opens up the canon, and I think a teacher who is really committed to making sure that students read and read well, it's empowering. Jovan, what did you come up with that second? What do you think that second paragraph is about?
When it's talking about how to use nonviolence, it's talking about how to use nonviolence in a like in a way without like making them feel like a terrible person.
Okay.
Like not trying to like defeat them, but you're trying to like you're trying to help them.
Okay. What makes you say that? What makes you say that? What in the text made you say that?
Because in the paragraph it says that this a second point that is nonviolent resistance do not seek to defeat or humiliate your opponent, but to win his friendship.
Today, we took 6 paragraphs. But when we started off the school year, we took 1 paragraph. And then we took 3 paragraphs. And then we read the Emancipation Proclamation, which was 3 paragraphs, but it was very difficult. So I grew my students to the point where we can take 6 paragraphs. Why did you pick this particular sentence? Like, I think you're spot on. The world must not allow themselves to become bitter or indulge in hate campaigns. Why?
Well, I want to make a connection with the Abraham Lincoln. When the U.S. had broke apart, and this probably might cause another war if it breaks apart, if everyone starts to hate each other.
Oh, okay. I agree. Oh, okay. So you all are making a connection to the Abraham Lincoln text.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I said,
She already down there.
along the way of life, someone must have sense enough and more.
How do you say this?
Yeah.
More in the next sentence.
Morality enough to cut off the chain of hate.
So what does that mean?
It means the person should have enough sense enough to
Cut
have
off the chain of
hate.
hate. So they must stop what?
They must stop the hate of,
Why? Why must they stop the hate?
because they should stop the hate because
What did the text say? Don't think to yourself. What did it say? He said it. The first sentence is what?
it says has brought out concerning nonviolent resistance. So they
I know
should
it's a
stop.
couple of difficult words, right? Because he talks about internal and external, right?
External
Hold on, hold on.
outside.
Everybody give me 5. All right, listen. This is our last round robin, okay? Listen, you all are doing a great job. It's tough. But we have 3 points so far. We're going to pick a last point. We're going to have our last point. Point number 1 is what? You can't be a coward. Point number 2.
Don't embarrass your opponent.
We don't want to embarrass our opponent. Point number 3.
It's about justice, not injustice.
It's about justice, not injustice. Now think about this. Somebody then pushed you out of line, and now you're going to respond nonviolently. So 1, you can't be scared, right? You won't be scared. We're not going to try to embarrass the person. We're trying to fight the belief that people think they can bully others. And what's the 4th point? All right, that's what we're going to talk. Wait. That's what we're going to talk about. 30 seconds, starting with person number 1.
Some people might mistake and think they're right, but we're trying to tell them that, every time people hate, when the Caucasians were messing with the African Americans, they were hating. But we're trying to say is don't hate and love. Like every time you put hate to it, you're adding more hate to the world.
Well, what I said is that when this in paragraph I thought it was about is that it avoids not external physical violence, but it's also internal non-violence of the spirit.
Okay,
I want to add to I think what he means by that, whatever you do, anything that happens, try to not use violence and always use non-violence to handle a problem, because if you use violence, it's just going to make the situation worse.
What this lesson says is that this guy believes that these children can read Dr. King. And I believe they can. And they may not understand everything, and that's fine. But guess what? They were exposed to Dr. King. These children have read more King than most people have in the United States. And I think that's something wonderful. Thank you, Common Core.